Hello, everyone. Welcome to this live stream, love stream. I just thought I'd take the opportunity to share a video, a little real talk, a little perspective about some of the energetic themes coming up because it seems to have been quite an intense week for everyone so far, emotionally and otherwise, energetically, physically. um, And it's definitely been a theme in the appointments that I've had as well with people that I've either emailed in, that I've done a remote reading for, or even that I've met with privately over Zoom. This seems to be a theme right now. And it's really quite interesting. And I hope that this is going to help. That is the intention that I offer today, is that this video is going to help. But let's talk a little bit about after the solstice. We've just had, for most of us who are watching this channel, most of us will be in the Northern Hemisphere. We've just had the summer solstice. There's this emphasis on masculine energy. Now, what's really interesting is a lot of people kind of feel that in the run-up to the solstice, they go, oh, well, maybe the emphasis on the masculine healing is in the run-up. But actually, we now find ourselves from Friday onwards, Friday of last week, we had this Capricorn full moon, the first of two full moons in Capricorn. So we've got this Capricorn full moon that we've just had. We have a blue moon coming up. That's going to be Capricorn full moon again. So we're in this month portal. We have, of course, Saturn going retrograde as well in a couple of days. And that's going to be its usual, I think it's about 5 months or so, 5 or 6 months Saturn is usually retrograde for. Astrologists out there can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's really interesting because some of the themes that we are inevitably going to be experiencing, especially as we delve more into the summer, which we are now in, we're going to be really invited by these cosmic energies, and probably more intensely so than any other year that we've had, just because of the intensity of the solar flares that we're having as well right now. These all add extra layers. It's all about the radiation that is offered when the sun is emitting, and we are energetic beings, right? We are energetic beings. We have our electrical systems that is always directly impacted by whatever the sun is doing, and the rest of our being is impacted by whatever the planets are doing, because they are all within us. So let's look at some of the themes here of Capricorn, of Saturn, and some of those opportunities that we're going to have. And this is going to be relevant for everyone in various different ways. So it will show up for you differently. It will show up for you differently than it will show up for anyone else, because we all have our own unique life history. So let us go there. Capricorn, the sea goat. Capricorn is a leader. Capricorn is all about the masculine energy, right? It opposes Cancer, which is that mother energy. So Capricorn can be looked at to be the leader, the general, the divine masculine, even the father figure in some capacity. Then we have Saturn, and of course Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. We have Saturn, which is all about discipline and structure, and those types of energies. Now, it's also about responsibility and accountability. So what a lot of us are going to find in our own unique ways, and I am sharing this video because it's going to firstly help you have compassion and grace for yourself, for whatever you're going through, and of course then for our friends, our family, our loved ones, because it may be that relationships are going to get quite strained. It may be that relationships are already getting quite strained, that trigger points are already coming up, that fight or flight response is being highly activated. And it's funny because then you get to really observe what your initial response is, whether you fight or flight or freeze or fawn. And if that is coming at you from someone who's already triggered, then if it triggers an innate response within you. I noticed myself recently a couple of triggers coming up, and I see old traumas coming up and old themes, and kind of when I would want to just run and escape, or just kind of, leave, or, whether I'd want to kind of like fight and get like bolshy about something, I'm noticing that within myself. So it's inevitable that it's going to be coming up around as well. But this is the real gift that any retrograde will offer us, is it invites us to go in and unweave any of these things that are stopping us being our true self. So when we look at masculine energy wants to have a cause. He wants to kind of lead by example. Masculine energy in its wholeness and its divine energy and its sovereignty is it's a leader. He has conviction. He provides protection, containment, discipline, healthy discipline, not unhealthy discipline. There's two forms of that. And that's a Saturn trait as well. Like, is our discipline, whether it's for ourselves or for others, or our boundaries, whether they're for ourselves or others, are they healthy or are they not? Where are they coming from? And what does that even actually mean? So the divine masculine is the builder of the community, is the builder, the pillar, right? So then we're going to get invited to look at ourselves. Where are we leading ourselves? Where are our boundaries and containment for self, for our feminine energy within, for our inner child? Where is that containment? Are there gaps in our boundaries? And let's just redefine what the word boundary means. Boundary is self-respect and self-love. Boundary is your level of self-respect and self-love, the unity of the masculine and feminine within you. So if we're, for example, a woman and we're holding a very masculine shield, a very masculine exterior, if we've had to, if we formed distrust early on in life towards men or masculine energy, which a lot of us have done, and that's not necessarily the men's fault because we've raised those men, right? Women have raised those men and so have men. So this isn't about blaming, this is just about observing. So if we have developed a mistrust of masculine energy because masculine in its sovereignty has control over their emotions, they observe, they are level-minded, they are wise, intellectual, analytical. But most of the time in the world that we've chosen to incarnate in, that is not the reality. So then we kind of breed this slight mistrust, right? We breed a mistrust. And then if, as for example, a woman, if you're a woman watching this and you've bred a mistrust without realizing it of men or masculine energy, then you will be stepping forward to fill that space with your own masculine energy, which means that instead of being driven by your inner balance and what actually feels right and knowing your emotions or knowing your feelings and knowing who you are, instead you are driven by accomplishment because that is how you received care and affection growing up. So it's interesting because these are the themes that are going to be coming up right now, right? Respect. Are we respectful in how we talk to ourselves and one another, how we act towards ourselves and one another? Do we have integrity? This is a big one. So do our actions align with our words? Do our thoughts align with our actions? If not, and once again, I do these videos to kind of invite you to look inwards rather than outwards. So rather than looking at other people around you, look at yourself here. When I do this, I look at myself here. So are my intentions aligned when I'm saying something or doing something? Before I speak or before I act, am I thinking and feeling alignment, or am I doing it because I'm responding or reacting to a behavior of someone else? Because no one else should be determining who you are. And if they are, if something someone says or does around you or to you is determining your response, then we're not coming from a place of wholeness yet. There is an opportunity to heal something. Yeah. So we've got all this Capricorn, all this Saturn energy coming up, and it's an invitation to really reestablish what healthy discipline is, what healthy boundaries are, what respect for self is, how to be accountable and have conviction for your actions. Are you choosing to have conviction for your actions, or are you being passive? Oh yeah, well you can do that. Oh yeah, well you can do that. Oh, well, I'll ask someone else to do that. Get someone else to run this errand. Get someone else to think about that. Or are you going to take the invitation to have conviction in your thoughts, in what you want to do, achieve, attain? Can you do this in a healthy way where you go, okay, well, I actually have this as a goal, so I'm now going to take action. Even if it's collaborative, even if it's working as a team, maybe you're in work and you have to do a team project, are you able to not only lead, but lead in an inclusive way? Or do we slip into this, do as I say, not as I do? Or do we slip into, well, I'll let them take the responsibility? All these things are invitations that are going to come up, invitations to know ourselves better, invitations to see our wounds, see our gaps, see our shortcomings, so that we can allow that part of the masculine energy within us to heal and also rebalance with our feminine energy, right? Because the feminine energy is there to nurture and nourish and be creative and be the muse for the masculine energy within us. If they're out of balance, then you might be working, not getting any rest, being depleted, drained, and then your goals aren't actually coming any closer, right? The structure that you want to create for your life and yourself and your family and your friends, etc., it's not coming any closer because it's not balanced, right? So then we're operating from a wounded template. So it's really interesting here. It's really cool, you could say. It is really, really cool because, when we're looking at our accountability, our conviction of actions, this also kind of highlights if we're ignoring, if we're in denial about anything. It's whether we are over punishing ourselves, whether we are having reactive boundaries, not caring for self, not evolving any of our previous experiences. We're going to be invited now to really allow healthy, loving, respectful boundaries for self, healthy discipline for self. Healthy discipline looks like if you say to yourself, I'm going to get up at 6 a.m. so that I can go for a jog, that even when the alarm goes off at 6 a.m. and you feel still a little bit sleepy, you're still going to get up because you've made that commitment to yourself, right? There's a lot of passiveness in the masculine energy right now, or a lot of fighting for a cause that actually doesn't mean anything to you because we're afraid to fight for ourselves and to build for ourselves. Yeah. So those things are going to come up. It's ironic because I have Chalice Well in the background, and that was a big indication, wasn't it? With whatever happened with Chalice Well the other week. And so many people wanted to jump on the bandwagon of fighting for this cause of a piece of stone, right? Because they put value and meaning and definition to a piece of stone. And oftentimes, when we're looking for these external causes, it could be protests, it could be anything, we're looking at them and we're feeling driven and on fire to fight for them. But that's usually because our masculine energy is unsatisfied with how we are fueling our own passions, our own drive. So it's always interesting because when you have someone who is really anchored and balanced in their masculine energy, and that masculinity, that inner father, that inner lover, that inner hunter, that all the inner archetypes of masculine energy, the inner warrior, when they are all balanced and feeling satisfied, your life comes into immense alignment physically as well. You have the abundance, you have the provision, you have the those around you that you can rely and count on to have your back, right? To be loyal and to literally link arms with you. And it's a fascinating thing because in the world today, we've got these extreme polarity around gender, just even on the same kind of spectrum, you have this immense aggression of masculine energy and then this immense passiveness of masculine energy. So whenever we have a spectrum getting further and further apart, bigger and bigger weights to either side, it's a good thing because it's showing us that, okay, this has to fall in on itself soon. The bigger the spectrum that is rising up in the world is highlighting very much that sooner or later this has to come back into balance because it cannot be continuing. It's like swings and roundabouts, cannot continue in that way. It's just showing two sides of an unbalanced spectrum. So, and obviously that happens for the feminine too, but right now there is an emphasis on the masculine. And it really is powerful because the thing about when we come out of this or when we actually do the work, and this is the key thing, you cannot passively do the work, you have to actively do it. So when the emotions come up, you have to feel them, you have to honor them, you have to listen to the story they're trying to tell you, what they're trying to bring up so that you can heal, because it's all about experience you haven't healed. It's not actually about whoever is in front of you or whatever you think that they're doing. It is a highlight of an aspect of self that is fragmented. And that's an important thing to remind yourself of if that, you're getting into challenges with a friend, a loved one, even a partner or a parent or a child or whatever. You know, is it actually about them? Because when we get triggered, it's not actually about the other person and what they're doing. It's about usually that they are doing something that we wish we had the courage to do. They are doing something that we haven't had the courage to do, you know, or we feel like we've disempowered ourselves and they are showing us exactly what it is that we wish we could. The only remedies to actually do this is an action time, but first get into alignment. First, set up your structure, set up your day to day. What time you're going to wake up, what time you're going to go to bed. Make it as simple as that. There is no other excuse. This is the time I'm going to bed. My phone is going off at this time. I wake up at this time. I'm getting up at this time. Give yourself the space and the time for the feminine energy to come in to help you rest, help you nurture and nourish yourself. You know, because the thing is that if we move through these, especially this first month where we're going to have these 2 Capricorn full moons, that's going to be very intense. It already is for most of us. But especially this month, and then in the next 4 or so afterwards in the Saturn retrograde, right? The benefit of it is that we're going to be able to come out of this energy if you're actively observing and actively healing and actively changing behaviors that you've always done to the new behavior you want to attain, you want to become. If we do that, then we come out of it with our relationships being more balanced, being more healthy, being more wholesome, being more respectful in how we speak, how we act, and how we hold space when one of us is triggered. You come out of this to be less attached, so less codependent, attachment, trauma bonds, less of that, but more compassionate, more wholesome, free and whole, and choosing interdependency. You see? We find ourselves more balanced and more self-realizing with our true goals, our true aspirations. We actually understand and know what our aspirations are. This brings clarity of the mind, clarity of our action, clarity of ourself. And then we have space and a plan to physically attain and achieve the goals that are actually suited to us. This is the power of Saturn retrograde. This is the power of the Capricorn full moons. This is the invitation. It will target frustration. It will target your anger. It will target the fury that's within you that you've not healed yet. It will target all of that so that they can release. You can feel what you need to feel. And you can be more wholesome within yourself, more happy, more balanced, more grounded, more satisfied, and more fulfilled. It's a really cool time. I do have private appointments available through July. If you want to book, go to aliceheath.com. I have some wonderful Libyan gold tektites available as well. Very, very, very powerful meteorite here. They are available to look at on Ascension Crystals of the One True Heart on Facebook. And I also have some pyramids, crystal pyramids ready for Lion's Gateway if they call to you. I have a few of these left, and then after that, it will be a different collection of crystals after August. So if any of those call, pop me an email, crystals@aliceheath.com. I'll go to Ascension Crystals of the One True Heart. Live appointments are available while they last. Book via my website, aliceheath.com. I will see most of you on the 2nd of July for Mastering the Cosmic Gateways workshop, and then again on the 11th with the wonderful Tim Wilde. So I'll see you all soon. Lots of love.